So being able to set yourself up here, taking the first spot overall is very important. What else do we see? It's Kai'Noob back in the midfield slots on Hungry Like Nephew.
Yeah, definitely just putting this Hungry Like Nephew team into when you have the best player in the world on your team, things are going to be looking pretty good, and we've got not quite a damaged start, far from it. In fact, Stacks and Demolitionist with it being spread out pretty evenly. A lot of siphoning wands, as has been foretold, and Soren just playing this midfield position because boom, that's a big power play, and that's a big EKC win right there on Kai'Noob, no less, and that's going to be 1 point in EKC's bag.
Yeah, going to be interesting to watch the execution here. Of course, Bell's playing X here, which a siphoning wand, you would think, right, somewhat helps. Obviously, you usually see X go over to the fan brace, but in this state of the game right now, siphoning wand obviously is the pickup, and indeed 4 forwards are playing siphoning wand in this match, and my goodness, NXCD, just say goodbye to your health bar. Meanwhile, Bells gets KO'd. The early X, you know, something X scaling. It's set 1X.
Yep.
So we'll see where that goes as this develops. But right now, it is all EKC, and NXCD able to continue putting away the core. Soren moved up so far forward there as well. Things looking really good right now for EKC.
Yeah, Soren already on max stacks, has the mom boots. Is just rocking out at 639 speed, something light for the fans. Just it has so much mobility here, can cover so much space. And like you said, the X is, that guy's level 1. It's just been having a tough time, especially into damage. Can just get every ability on top of his head just mowed down. And so we're going to have to see a lot of scaling come in for Hungry Like Nephew if they want to win. They've got to get the X online by set 3. Or it's going to be curtains, because EKC right now is really looking like they are running away with these early sets. Not this point. Different story at this point, but I don't know. Hungry Like Nephew has a little bit of work cut out against the team that everyone's saying this is their patch.
I mean, it certainly has to feel like it, right? If a unchanged EKC roster from, what was that, 3 seasons ago at this point? It was season 3 that they had their run to runners-up in the league versus the Sad Boys. Go figure. If there is any time for this team, as Saya said earlier, now would be the time. And it would seem as though they've set themselves up well so far in this league to be able to take it. Bell's not able to quite fully find the core. NXCD backed up quite a bit, and I like seeing the high amount of mobility out of the EKC comp in general here as well. With NXCD dropping all the way back, Kasuna's been around the pitch quite a bit. Soren's moved up very far forward. They got extra speed, and the dash ranges or blink ranges that you see has been very helpful, along with, of course, the stacks on stacks. But with Bells finding that KO, it'll be a goal on the board here for Hungry Like Nephew.
Yep, 1 on the board, and it could be seeing 2 more soon, as that's an NXCD staggered taken low. The stacks on stacks coming online for Kai'Noob and Vaughn at 108, revving him up, could get close. Has that momentum boots as well, so playing Juno just like the era as just a big speed guy, and that's going to be NXCD down. Big power play for Hungry Like Nephew, and they might reverse sweep this set with how it's looking.
Looking likely. Energy Burst committed, though, on that point. It's the ace. Bell's getting in a little bit of X mockery here. So we'll take that. But even still, actually relatively even on the energy meters for both squads here as we enter the 5th goal in the first set. And NXCD already taken down so low. Going to make this very difficult to play.
Yeah, Zentaro, just the feast or famine character, low stagger, ton of damage, has to fight back and win those fights, or else it's going to be a power play for Hungry Like Nephew. Bells, though, taken a little low. Both Bells and Kai'Noob starting this set with no energy. So we're seeing Bells has an evade, but might get knocked out pretty soon, gets staggered, and this is EKC's win condition. They want to knock out Bells if they get him down. then they should have a pretty smooth and comfortable means to get forward. In the meantime, though, that's both barriers down.
Oh, both barriers down, and Kitsuna playing the mind games on Soren. Soren's been defending very well, at least that point had been defending quite well, but even still, Kainu just with a slightly different strike timing, able to find the goal and pick of the litter here up first. 1-2 punches online, but Prize Fighter most notably here as well. Let the snowball continue.
Yep, Prize Fighter, I feel like unless Adrenaline rushes up, should just be first pick every game. Anytime it's there, take that thing, because if nothing else, you don't want the enemy team to have it. You know, even if your Mako goalie shows up and is like, I have Prize Fighter, hey, that means that the enemy, Zentaro, Estelle, anyone, they're not getting it. So obviously, not a Mako. You know, not this made-up situation that I have. That is an Aimi. That is a character that is actually phenomenal at getting KOs. That being said, Prize Fighter and stacks mean that Kainu, if he gets taken down once, will be in a very, very difficult spot with 0 awakenings. He can lose them all, so I don't know if EKC should try and put all of their abilities into him, because he is obviously such a great player into damage into everything. He's so good at everything. But if they're able to, could be a big, big pickup. In the meantime, though, both barriers are going to be going down, and Hungry Like Nephew is really feasting here.
They're certainly hungry, making the point known. And it's going to take everything to win a fight versus this team on the midfield line. Someone as talented as Kainu, Vaughn, obviously there's Juno certainly controlling the pace of the game and just trying to get it through both of them. Kitsuna has to use everything and the kitchen sink to get it through, and an energy burst from NXDD. Meanwhile, could find himself almost down. Vaughn with a beautiful Blobo bounce to keep that core out of the net. NXDD going to stay alive for now, as well as Vaughn. Here's the Firewall Sentry. Bell's getting into position. There's the Bull Rush. Goes on a 4 KO streak on this X. Never mind, Yoshi. Maybe set 1X or set 2X is all you need. Bells is still staying alive, continuing to find these KOs, and it has opened the door for plenty of goals in the net for Hungry Like Nephew.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, Bell's picking up the 1-2 punch. With Siphoning Wand, that's a great way to stay alive and completely flip the script on the damage, which is what we've been seeing. I mean, look at everything that's been coming out here. And just Hungry Like Nephew gets the KOs, they're able to stay alive. And kind of sitting on 2 Prize Fighter stacks. Like, they have all the momentum. This is the control that they want to see, and are really putting Soren especially in a difficult spot. But Soren just keeps making these exceptional saves against this nightmare comp, against the X. You know, it is so tough, and still he is getting it done.
KO comes through, this time though against Bell, snapping the 4 KO streak. A power play opportunity here for EKC, but you have to go through Vaughn and Kainu. I mean, how much of a power play is that actually? If you're in consideration there. Bells immediately comes back on, will find a KO, looks to check, keep the play in possession. For Hungry Like Nephew, Vaughn credited with the goal to put it away, getting involved on the front lines as well.
Yeah, we've been seeing, I think, you know, let's get some hot takes going. I don't know. I think these are the 2 best goalies in the North American Strikers League right now. Soren and Vaughn duking it out. And obviously their scores on the standings really reflect that. But both of these players make such exceptional holds all the time consistently and are so offensive. That being said, Hungry Like Nephew really just running away with this set. And the game. Just showing their dominance here.
Snowballed set 2 away in sweep fashion. Kainu, once again, set MVP. And picks up the adrenaline rush here, because why wouldn't you? If you're Kainu. Here, of course, Stinger taken away from the X, but he'll be happy with the specialized training here as well. It's just more damage online for Hungry Like Nephew.
Yeah, this is kind of a nightmare draft for EKC. I like 1-2 punch specialized. on Bells, and that's, you want to talk about set 3x? This is a set 3x. This is a terrifying beast. Being said, NXCD has 155 power with 2 Size Awakenings and Might of Colossus. Not quite the Zentaro build you would expect, but still definitely has scaled up very nicely, has the opportunity to fight back and get stuff done, but it's going to be difficult. Like, Kainu with Prize Fighter, Adrenaline Rush, has everything going for him, and the biggest pickups are 2 KOs, 1 for both team, and like Katsunan Stinger, which is going to have to make up a lot of this damage deficit that EKC is facing right now.
We'll see whether or not they're able to do that, as now both of those players have come back from the penalty bench. Energy Burst committed here. Bell's looking to set up a cheeky play with the Bull Rush. Not able to do just that. Vaughn able to defend away from Kitsuna at range. Meanwhile, EKC keeps the pressure alive here. Glitch Pop catches the core at a weird angle. Keeps it in the corner there, and NXCD able to put it away.
Yep, very, very well played there. Getting that in, and 1 point on the board. Hey, 2 more, and that's a set. That's an Awakening draft in your favor. That's going to be a lot, but I'm looking at these levels right here, and Bell's just taken down is going to be level 8, Kainoob level 8, Vaughn level 7, but NXCD hitting level 7, and level 8 started this point level 6. Just a massive, massive, I didn't even get to finish talking about the level deficit before they close it right away. Oh my god.
Start of the set, by the way, NXCD was still level 5, had just ticked over to level 6 in the last point. Now, of course, already to level 7. Energy Burst available here, and suddenly the snowball feels like it has swung the other way, despite nobody really on EKC having those snowbally awakenings, but NXCD, my goodness, send it through. Glitch Pop there looks like it comes up just shy. Kitsuna is the one credited with the goal. So much pressure built up there.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I'm completely flabbergasted. Everything is flipped on its head. It was a hungry like nephew sweep, and then EKC showed up and said, "We can take 3 points in less than a minute each. That's something light." And a big Deadeye pickup for Katsuna there. That's what I'm talking about. That's the damage coming in. Dash Awakening on this giant, incredibly powerful Zentaro means that any deficit in core control is being made up right there. We are seeing peak on Vaughn, who has been getting KO'd, been taking low. Going to be getting more speed, more stagger. That's going to be nice. And Timeless on Aimi is just always going to be effective. But this is exactly what EKC wanted. They were able to just sweep that set, get a bunch of awakenings they want, and now this point, different story at this point, but still, they're back in the running. It's not over yet.
Not quite, especially with Bells having already burned the X Maximus to get both of those barriers. Now, granted, of course, right, scoring goal a lot easier when both barriers are down, as it turns out. But even still, feels like less of a threat when not in the X Maximus, given by the fact that specialized training will play a huge role when the ultimate is available. Vaughn and Kainu playing around in the backfield for Hungry Like Nephew, and the Maelstrom will fight against the Firewall Sentry. Here's the Energy Burst out of Kitsuna. Vaughn and Kainu both in control right now, almost have an Energy Burst, but a power play opportunity. NXCD going to start breaking through. Here's the Energy Burst, sends it right back as soon as overtime hits. Soren going to be able to react in time, and the Glitch Pop will send it down to the bottom side of the pitch. Weird angle off of the speed gate, as Bells will pick it up. Maelstrom comes through here. NXCD can't quite catch the core. It ends up behind him, and now has to be careful here. Low on stagger. Oni's blade is out, and now is going to get just KO'd instantly. Beautiful combo there from Hungry Like Nephew to earn this power play. Soren burns the Energy Burst. Here's the X Maximus again. It bullies Soren away, and Kainu is able to find the shot.
Yeah, big Hungry Like Nephew point there. And something I think that we have not mentioned at all that I'm seeing come into play a lot is this build on Soren, who has extra special and monumentalist, and is just ripping these giant NATOs every like 15 seconds. and creating a ton of offense for EKC, which I think they're really struggling to get going. You know, we saw the barriers just being held for so long against them by Hungry Like Nephew. The defense, again, Vaughn and Kainoob. Today I will score on Vaughn and Kainoob. Nice. That's going to be tough. But here, able to break through, they have something going, and I think we're in for a very, very close set here. Oh,
Bang!
my.
Maelstrom and piercing shot combo is going to be what puts that one away. Hey, look, if you've got a giant tornado sweeping through, there's only so much that Vaughn or Kainoob can do, even though they work magic most of the time, as does Bells, by the way, just able to put the core away when he wants to. Game point now for Hungry Like Nephew.
6-second point. Quite a swift one. And Hungry Like Nephew just biting back, showing that they are not here to play. Vaughn in that KO earlier did get his stacks reset, but Kainoob sitting on max 150 stacks. 2 prize fighters, and just they've got all the damage onto these forwards on EKC. This might just be a quick Hungry Like Nephew point. It's going to take some real miracles, some fantastic plays for EKC to come back just this point, let alone this set.
NXCD has been able to find so many conversions here, but he can only do so much, again, when he's staggered. It's like, NXCD, you have to live, you know, whatever the rest of the copy pasta says. He just has no stagger weightings to his name and continues to just get targeted by Hungry Like Nephew. Look, still pinballed around by the glitch pop. Now, maybe looking towards Bells, but Bells has an evade. NXCD doesn't quite and looks for the orb, but gets KO'd by Kainoob. Meanwhile, Kitsuna, take it down low, will take out Kainoob. And it's a 2v2 suddenly on the pitch. Soren looking to keep it away from Bells. Kitsuna almost a little fumble there. Once again, bad speed gate bounce for EKC, but they were able to defend it away. The Maelstrom comes through along with the Firewall Sentry, and everyone's back online. All of the sudden, Bells take it a little low, finds the goal barrier nonetheless. Here comes Kainoob. Vaughn also slowly starting to approach. Blah will bounce up to the top side. NXC, maybe with the breakaway, will find the goal barrier. Here's Ioni's blade. Kitsuna has the core, but where will it end up going? There's the eye rush from NXCD. Comes up just shy. X Maximus now out of Bells. Soren moved up very far. Kitsuna had to back on away, and a push couldn't quite happen. Now to the top side. No, Bells just can't quite connect, but Kainoob is there to recover. And it's Hungry Like Nephew taking their map pick.
Yep, we saw flashes of EKC brilliance, especially on that second barrier take. Just coming really close to getting it, almost there to seal it out, but not quite. And Hungry Like Nephew will be taking that win. And this gets me thinking about just the history between these two teams. You know, Hungry Like Nephew, formerly Sad Boys, had gone undefeated against EKC for a very, very long time, never dropping a series to them, always winning, until LAN recently for the crown. Not recently, it's been a few months, but there we saw EKC take their first win against Sad Boys, and now different roster, not quite. There's Kainoob there, much more difficult situation, I'd imagine here, but we're still seeing those EKC flashes of brilliance. We're still seeing what got them over the finish line at the LAN, and I think that if they keep playing to this pace, if they keep playing at this level, they can overcome Hungry Like Nephew with Kainoob, and I think that would be a real sight to see after that first game.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the one thing I'm worried about if you're EKC is, and I know we've seen it picked a couple times today, but how good is this era goalie actually on this patch? Because it feels like you're just going to continually get pummeled. You have like a decent bit of extra speed, and you can shrink down the brawler that's in your face, but how helpful is that? Like, is my genuine question. I don't know what the answer is, right? Because obviously there's a world where if you get the momentum going and you can keep the pressure up on the other side of the pitch, sure, that's great. But for the most part here, right, like, Bells is just going to sit there on top of you, and as soon as he has enough damage, he's just going to harass the goalie. It doesn't matter what pick he's on in order to do that, but you'd think that you'd want something with a little more staggered, a little more stability rather than the era.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It's looking like it's just having a lot of trouble getting any footing. Like, obviously, Era into X in that last game has a nice matchup where you can beam the X, and then all of a sudden, what's he going to do? He's even slower, no power. That's part of what makes the character so strong. Like, it's over for that guy. But I believe we did see in this recent patch the debuff on Era Beam get nerfed by a quarter of a second, and
Oh no.
yeah, like
A
I
quarter
don't
of a
think
second. Ooh.
I don't think that's changing anything, but still, that is what an eighth of its power gone. If you think about it like that, not. It just seems like Era, you get the shrink, and then what? 1.75 seconds pass, and then you've got to defend against the X again, and it's really, what do you do? That's a big guy. His strike hitbox is by default larger than yours, and it's got a lot of hits done. Drop the X Maximus. It's kind of over. A beam's not going to save you from all that. You only get one versus as many punches. So I think there are spaces where the Era goalie can be good. I'm very hesitant to just write off a pick immediately, but here in these games, in this situation, has not been seeing a whole lot of success.
I don't think it's bad overall. I just think this patch, the way that we've seen people play this so far in a very damage-heavy world, I don't know how good that's going to be. I was even thinking about this too. The blue one pick is almost assuredly going to be Imi every single day of the week. Get Kainoob on his comfort champion and just call it a day. Although EKC might try to play a little bit more damage, even with the Luna respect ban against Kitsuna, playing Vice Estelle, Kazan maybe still online. Those kinds of ideas here for NXCD. I suppose we'll see.
Yeah, I'm quite liking both teams' drafts. I think, and we're seeing them in this game, Vice, Imi, and Zentaro are the three. They are the big three of this patch. You want to get those guys on your team. And I believe we saw Vice banned Vice and Luna, and Hug is always just going to ban Luna from Katsuna and not let that through. It's also a big pick. Luna also a big damage character, but Vice is able to put out so much damage, so much pressure. I believe that's going to be Soren playing it, and no, wait, I'm looking a little bit closer, and that's a last pick Finny, and I don't know what they're doing, but that's 3 damage characters I'm looking at on EKC, and that's great. That's what this patch is all about. Imi and Zentaro on Hungry Like Nephew, similar. Those are 2 massive damage characters, have a lot of synergy together. The Now for healing. Good, great. Both teams locking in just insane damage comps. This is what I'm here to see.
I have no clue what NXCD is going to end up playing here. I would not be surprised to see. I feel like it's the Vice if you're picking anything because you have more conversion potential there. The only thing is there is the Now on the other side, right? So I would be hesitant for that. If you're throwing all of your marbles in the damage bucket, this Now could cause some small problems along the way, and especially the extra speed that it could provide to a player like Kainoob or Bells, for that matter. It's going to be very important. It is NXCD playing Estelle, Soren on the Vice, and Kitsuna playing Finny midfield for this comp. We're gonna see whether or not this works. If you got damage on top of damage on Atlas's lab, so it can't be too bad, right?
Yeah, I do think that this is a big gamble because we see Hungry Like Nephew on the Imi goalie, and they could have flex picked it to midfield for Kainoob. They picked Now at last, and so they could have made that decision. But Imi goalie is notably one of the most offensive picks that doesn't have very many defensive tools at all. You have turret, and we're seeing right here, it's on defense, not where you want to be. You don't want to be on defense. You want to just be killing them permanently offense, and that's what the pick is designed to do. That being said, a good a good brawler character, a good like Juliet, Zentaro, etc., guy with a lot of hit stun, is usually what you see punishing an Imi goalie. Here, I think it's going to be on NXCD with the Estelle to do a lot of that. We've got Katsuna with the big finish, able to get these barriers, but it's going to have to be NXCD, who has been taken down, getting the goals here, I think, to punish the Imi goalie as best they can.
Oh. Okay, I was kind of excited there because Guna actually had a real nice, inventive use of the big finish. Throwing it down there between the goal barriers, but then actually kicking the rock around so that it hit both barriers afterwards. And then Bells just comes up and ends up sending it through, and Zoran can't get there. All good, though. Hey, the damage is working! That's another quicker than 10-second KO for EKC, and it's set 1. They don't even have, like, glass cannon, sure, is like a thing, and the siphoning wand buff, but this is insane for the most part. Even still, losing goal barriers here is Hungry Like Nephew. He's been able to claw this one back, so Bells has to be incredibly careful here that he doesn't find himself getting sent back to the penalty box again.
Yeah, that's something else to note, is that Bells and Kainu both playing incredibly low stagger characters, massive targets for all the damage that EKC can put out. And we've been seeing the KOs come in, roll in so quickly early in these points, and that's not where you want to be. I think EKC's damage can outscale the damage that Hungry Like Nephew can put in, but not if Bells is just going to be on his winner activity, winning that strike war, getting another point, and sending this set to match point. We can keep saying it all day. It's going to be tough for EKC. They have to play against Hungry Like Nephew and Kainu. Like, holy moly. But I think they can do it.
It can be done, especially playing their cards right on this damage composition. I'm also really looking for Soren, obviously, to get a Dash Awakening on the Thunderstruck, because that's really where he wants to be, right? Just getting hyper involved on the Vice. The next question I have for you, Yoshi, to your point in the last one, is there a striker in the game right now that actually feels like a high stagger striker? Because I feel like at this currently, anyone can get KO'd at any time, is so it feels, if a team coordinates things right, especially if you're playing against a comp like EKC's.
Yeah, really, and I'm inclined to agree. And EKC really showing that just health bars do not matter; they will go eventually. Like now we've been talking a lot about like EKC, they got a big mountain to climb. Think about how Hungry Like Nephew feels right now. You picked 2 of the lowest stagger characters in the game, and now it's like, okay, Phineas Del Vice, good luck. Like, these health bars are just going to be vaporizing, and like even a character like X, Asher, Dubu, all these high stagger characters, it doesn't matter. The siphoning wand.
Yeah, it's like, good luck dodging this, basically. And there's Bells taken down again there as well. Power play opportunity for EKC. Still have yet to find this goal barrier. It is set point for both teams. Energy Burst is out here at XCD. Back to the Gravity Wheel. Doesn't quite connect with it. And that means possession right on over to Hungry Like Nephew. Bells smacked with a misdirection here. Kasuna does have an Energy Burst online. NXCD, though, rather low as we head into overtime. But there's the Energy Burst. Kainu immediately finds it. We'll find the shop to the top side. Hungry Like Nephew again takes set 1.
Yep, big set 1 win in a pretty close set here. But now, Adrenaline Rush right there. Gotta be picked up, and kind of one of those players. He's one of those now players who can get the kill confirm, primary into flip, or just get kills on now. You look at now, and most people are like, I'm a healing character, I'm a speed character, I go fast. This guy's killing people! And now he has Adrenaline Rush to boot. Like, that's super dangerous. But these second and third picks going to EKC mean that's going to be Heavy Impact and Super Surge, both denied, both picked up for them. those are Super Surge, I think, a bit of an underrated pick. That's going to be a lot of damage on these secondaries. And of course, Heavy Impact Vice, star of the show, unlimited damage. You know, massive pickups. Bell's got some bulk up, some stagger, some power, etc. But I don't know. Heavy Impact Vice is on my screen, and that's a real game changer.
Certainly feels like it could be the case. We'll see whether or not EKC is able to actually do anything right now, but Soren is struggling right now. Bell's on top of this Vice, and the core is not being kept away well enough. Vaughn attempts to make a play happen here. Does have an energy burst at his disposal as well. KO as Kitsuna is taken off of the pitch. Or not Kitsuna, excuse me, NXAD. I'm so used to seeing Estelle. Oh, it's the midfielder, right? Wrong. That was the brawler that was KO'd, technically speaking. Meanwhile, though, Hungry Like Nephew puts it away.
Yep, and we're seeing the hashtag brawler patch in full effect. Both Bells and NXCD just staggered. Most of that point, just fighting against each other. Bells with a nice dash to prevent himself from being KO'd, and then getting the KO onto NXCD. Just some brutal stuff happening as there it is. That's a power play. That's both barriers. Brawler down. Kitten is looking like he's next, and Hungry Like Nephew are really showing that this is how they like to play. They are looking comfortable. They call it an EKC patch, but these guys might just be a little bit hungrier than them.
To your point earlier as well about Kainu picking up the adrenaline rush, which admittedly was mostly the denial away from the team that's trying to play a lot of damage. But Kainu probably feels pretty comfortable on the tank, mage, assassin, brawler, midfield, forward now. Who can do it all, because as one might recall, one of the times when Now, pretty close to Now's first release into the game, the character was very overtuned, as it turned out. Could basically do it all, quite literally, and had plenty of damage with heavy hitting abilities. So while that has gone by the wayside, even still, it feels like any character this patch can deal out the damage, especially when you put a siphoning wand on it. And Kainu certainly proving that so far, assisting in the damage numbers. Of course, we'll get a better picture of that at the end of this game. But it feels like it's all Hungry Like Nephew this set. That is now a 4-goal drought, at least for EKC, as they will take set 2, now looking on to set 3, making this a very quick series. A lot of folks thinking EKC might come into this one, a little chip coming through. Doesn't seem to be the case here so far, as Hungry Like Nephew showing they're here to stay.
Yeah, and that's Kainu. First pick, Stinger! That's going to be one Stinger. And we are casting spells with this wand here, and the spell is, I'm instantly kill you. No stagger. It's all gone. Vaporize. That being said, hold on. We are seeing a 1-2 punch pickup from Soren. That's some pretty substantial damage. NXCD with the fight or flight for some survivability, and I think that I'm going to keep saying, I think there's a chance, right? It's not over till it's over.
Well,
the damage from Hungry Like Nephew is very, very strong.
Yeah, I just watched the health bars of both NXCD and Kitsuna disappear at the same time. Gonna need to work some magic on the Finny in order to stay alive here. Meanwhile, Soren just does not have the tools to get this one away, and Kainu and Vaughn so effectively able to control the pitch. It's 5-0 straight for Hungry Like Nephew.
Yeah, 2 more, and that's the series, and that's a pretty, not guaranteed, I don't think, but pretty near guaranteed first seed in playoffs. So right here, and they've got to be pretty comfortable. This has been a pretty dominant game. EKC is really on the ropes here. They've got to be feeling nice right now. EKC just has to. They're so close to getting it, but there's just so much damage, and they're fighting back there, trying to stay alive. Katsuna holding on for dear life here, but at this point, I don't know if they're able to hold it. Unless
Vaughn with a goal line energy burst keeps that one out. Low stagger bars for NXZD and Kitsune. NXZD taking off the pitch. Here comes Vaughn. The Supernova already burned. Somehow Soren's able to keep that one out. But even still, Vaughn and Kainoob have possession of the core, and that does not spell good news if you're trying to defend against them. Oni's Blade out of bells as he comes back into the picture. Doesn't even need it, though, as Vaughn's able to send this one around. 6 goals straight, and now it's match point for Hungry Like Nephew.
Yeah, match point, and again, I cannot stop talking about it. EKC is just so close to greatness. They are on the cusp. They are almost there. It's been the Vaughn and Kainoob show all game, but we've been just seeing these great plays out of all 3 members of EKC, especially Soren on the defense, just holding on. And if they can just hold on long enough, they can do it. They are so close. But right now, Hungry Like Nephew is looking like they have this one almost in the bag, but not quite.
Kainoob with an energy burst here. NXZ and Kitsune both low. There's the energy burst to send it through. And that's all, folks. It's Hungry Like Nephew at the top spot at the league with 2 weeks to play.
Hungry Like Nephew.
Holy moly. Turns out they had that one in the bag. Just right then and there. They got it. And they got it. And so, wow. Just an explosive game, explosive finish, not explosive entrance. That's the other thing. But like you said, Hungry Like Nephew going to be getting a leg up. That's 5-2 right now. Most wins in the league. And EKC dropping down to 4-3 with several other teams here that we've been seeing. Not bad. Still very nice situation, but Hungry Like Nephew just soaring to the top here.
An explosive exit, as it turns out here, for Hungry Like Nephew. I will say, it's not all curtains for Hungry Like Nephew in securing the top spot and the top seed into playoffs. Next week, they are up against Showtime in perhaps what could be the battle for Kainoob. Showtime probably feeling like they might want him back for next week, but who knows there for sure. But yeah, I mean, what a performance. We kind of mentioned, right, Yoshi, that the comp from EKC in this game was a gamble, and it felt like there was a possibility of it working, but Hungry Like Nephew is always going to be able to find a way to victory, and eventually they did end up finding that very way in dominant fashion there after the first set in the game.
Yeah, I do really like the idea behind EKC's comp. And I like experimentation. You know, everyone's been sitting here saying, take Siphoning Wand or die. And that is kind of how it's panning out to be, but I'm always a fan of when teams sit down and say, you know, we have this idea, let's try it out. What if this, like, let's see if we can make this work, something that's not quite conventional, you know, look forward, maybe revolutionize the meta. Unfortunately, here I don't think the Estelle Brawler is going to be coming out to sweep nations, but I like the idea. I like the ingenuity, the thought process. I think that it's not something they just showed up and said, yeah, maybe this looks good. This could be nice, I guess. It's a lot of work went into the comp, the thought, the draft, everything. So even though it didn't work out now, I'm always going to be excited to see that and hope that we see more of that in the future. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this series. K-Bot, got anything left?
That's it for the two of us, but we've got one more match left here to play. Hyped up on the pre-show as a bozo sweep, despite a player from the Sundubu Strikers being on that desk. It is Bozo versus the Sundubu Strikers on the other side of this short break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.